The whole concept of the government taking care of your problems from cradle to grave and being involved with all the important aspects of your life, and that you're not able to make these decisions for yourself, this is really not what the founders of this nation had in mind.
Dr. Ben Carson telling me in that exclusive interview that the current social services structure, with everyone turning to government, it seems, for cradle to grave needs, is something the founding fathers would have readily dismissed. Dr. Carson may be really the only non politician in this upcoming 2016 campaign, but the good doctor is more than holding his own, according to the latest poll from Bloomberg and the Des Moines Register. In Iowa, Dr. Carson's favorability is among the highest, beating out several of the experienced politicians, including Rand Paul and Jeb Bush. So, what should Dr. Carson do to keep up his momentum? For more on this, we're pleased to welcome in Dick Morris, political analyst and author of the book Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation, a bestseller, a great read. And Dick, what is your read on Dr. Carson now?
Well, when you get someone who had pre-existing fame going into a race, you always have to wonder how he makes that transition from his role as a neurosurgeon, his advocacy of upward mobility for people and make rags to riches and spirituality. You wonder how the transition will take place to politics. And you wonder if the process of his getting known as a politician isn't going to drag down his favorable ratings. That hasn't happened. There's been real enthusiasm about his candidacy, and his ratings have remained very high. His biggest problem to do is to convince Republicans that he can take on Hillary Clinton. I mean, you know, you're asking someone who's never been in a round of heavyweight boxing to get into the ring with Muhammad Ali. I mean, there is nobody that has more experience at doing this than Hillary. All of the debates she had running for Senate, running for president, in all the primaries, and now again. And it's scary to think of somebody that has never been around, been fighting for a round, to be in that match. And I think he has to convince people that he can hold his own in that. I think that's the big obstacle.
Now, you and I come from a political background, and that's an understatement. I'm used to seeing strong candidates get up and deliver a decisive message. Dr. Ben, very soft-spoken. His manner with voters almost like a bedside manner, quiet, soothing, calm. It may seem at first glance counterintuitive to political pros, but could this approach really strike a chord in the electorate?
Well, it didn't work with McCain. You were always sort of wanting to turn up the volume when he was speaking. And I don't think it's going to be an effective approach. I think that he's got to be much more forceful and much more dynamic. You know, politics is its own occupation. And I don't think I could do neurosurgery. And it takes some adjustment of skills to do politics. And I think that Dr. Carson's approach is a very good one in a vacuum. But when it comes to fighting someone and going head to head, toe to toe, that's harder. And that kind of a low-key approach sometimes will get run over by a truck. I also think we all, in the back of our minds, have Obama, who had almost no experience, more than Carson, but not much. And look at how ineptly he's governed. And I'm just concerned about bringing someone in who's got nothing, who doesn't know anything about the process.
Well, when you hear Dr. Carson talk, and you offered a rhetorical tip of the cap to neurosurgery, and we all know politics ain't brain surgery, but Dick, in all sincerity, Dr. Carson told me, he said, you want to know pressure? It's being in an operating room with someone's life literally in your hands. And that kind of pressure, he believes, will serve him well when it comes to debates, when it comes to the sheer rigors of a campaign.
Well, it's not pressure that's the problem. I guess some people, I guess, may clutch and internally and be nervous and stuff like that. But I'm assuming that anybody that competes at this level has gotten over that. what's important here is the give and take, because there's always a subtext going on. One is who's winning the debate, who's making the points. The other is who's a strong and forceful leader. And I think that that's the one strength that Hillary has. And I think going against Carson without Carson being more aggressive is going to be difficult to watch.
If you were called upon to advise Dr. Carson, what would be the takeaway piece of advice you hope he would really take to heart?
Anybody who is running for president, who comes from apart from the normal political process, always has an initial bump. Obama did it because of his biography. McCain did it because of his POW record. And Carson is doing it because of the books he's written and the media attention that he's justifiably gathered. But that is like the pole in pole vaulting. It won't take you over the bar. It'll bring you near it, but it won't take you over. And to get over it, you have to get it in politics. So I think that it is important that Carson take one or two issues, preferably issues where he disagrees with the other Republicans. Maybe the free trade fast track deal, maybe the NSA reform bill that just passed. Maybe he wants to go further. I think it's important that he take a political issue and use it to define his advocacy, his strength, and his positioning. Because you can't run for president just on a resume.
And a resume is one thing, a good book is another, and we want to remind folks that you can get your copy of Dick Morris's best-selling book, Power Grab, by going to the internet and visiting powergrab411.com. That's powergrab411.com, and we're coming back.